Hello everyone, and welcome to Dino Draws Dinos, in which Dino draws dinos in alphabetical order. Today, we'll be looking at the elegant Albertaceratops, which was a centaurine dinosaur that lived in the Campanian stage of the Cretaceous period in Canada. They like savory foods over sweet foods, and their name means Alberta Horned Face. Once, this dinosaur was finally on the stairway to fame. They had been preparing for this what seemed like all their life, and now they had finally gained a following. They went up to collect their award as Best Supporting Actor, but there stood Celine. Her skin glowed in the spotlight. For a moment, it seemed like a friendly face in a sea of the unknown, but that feeling fell away as soon as I saw her eyes. They were cold, distant, completely unlike the eyes of the friend they once knew. The dinosaur walked forward, knowing of course that Celine wasn't really there. They came up to a lady in a long, sparkly light blue dress, and was handed an award. Time passed, and the Albertaceratops looked at their shelf, where 2 consecutive Best Actor awards stand from one award show, 3 from another, and then 4 of the Best Supporting Actors next to them. A few achievements and awards from other places litter their room, and they give a small smirk admiring them all. Their phone chimes from the driver, and they hurry to the door to get in the car, yet when they open the door, they see Celine. They've now realized not to pay attention to these delusions of their friend, so after a split moment of shock, the Albertaceratops walks right through Celine. They make it to the car, and in the driver's seat, looking at the famous actor, is Celine again. The dinosaur blinks again, and instead driving the car was just one of their staff. They let out a long sigh and told the driver, who was now looking a little worried since the dinosaur wasn't breathing for a moment, that they were all right. They stared out the car window, trying to hold back memories that were barging right through their mind. Celine was the Albertaceratops' best friend when they were both younger. The 2 of them had dreams of becoming famous actors, and made a pact that they would become the world's most famous and best acting duo anyone had ever seen. They practiced every single day, joined every single drama club in town, and even volunteered to help set design for some indie movies just to get with some people in the business. After a whole lot of time, one of their friends had recommended them for small supporting roles in an upcoming sequel to a well-known franchise. Fast forward to after the movie came out, and the 2 of them were on a lot of casting companies' lists. Things were finally looking out for the duo, when a big-name producer had come to the Albertaceratops specifically to ask them about a role. They would be playing one of the main supporting characters, but without Celine. They asked the producer about this, but he said it was just for the dinosaur. They started to refuse the offer when the producer reminded them about how much of a once-in-a-lifetime chance this was. Perhaps it was, but when the dinosaur went up on that stage to collect their first ever award, they saw their old friend there. Still looking out the car window, the Albertaceratops shook their head to rid themselves of these dreadful nightmares. But they didn't leave. After they had taken the producer's deal, they had gotten a text from Celine, a text they didn't reply to. Days passed and they still didn't respond to that text or the many after. They were just panicking at first, but after a while they just couldn't talk to them after so long. They wondered how many texts and calls they had ignored before Celine lost hope years ago. It had already been 10 years since they last met up. Gazing to the world beyond the glass of the window, they saw a figure in the distance, coming out of a cafe with someone else. It couldn't be, but it was Celine. She had the same face as the ghost that kept haunting the dinosaur, but she was older, and her eyes weren't as dead. Her skin was covered with more freckles than before, and the lines next to her eyes were more prominent. The Albertaceratops blinked again, unsure of what they were seeing, but unlike the visions that had plagued them for the past 10 years, this Celine stayed right where she was, talking with her partner next to her. Years later, they tried to convince themselves that Celine wasn't really there, and that they couldn't have ended the long silence there, but they knew it was true. They looked at their room, filled with plaques, awards, and posters. The last time they had already gotten a leading role was 20 years ago. Yet they hadn't lost their fame and appeared in movies and shows still. They hadn't stopped having visions of Celine. It was already 58 years since they had last spoken. They looked into the mirror and sighed, but then gave themselves a glare and picked up the phone. They had been brave enough to do their own stunts in movies, yet they were too much of a coward to speak to their friend. The Albertaceratops dialed the number and sat down, waiting to see if Celine would pick up. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you all, and I hope that if I ever wanted to be a celebrity duo with you, then I hope we'd still stay friends, even if it didn't work out. I hope you like my drawing, and hope to see you again next time. This has been Dino Draws Dinos.